Hey, have you ever thought about having a podcast of your very own? If so, great news. Spotify has a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money. It's all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. So, Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So, no matter what your setup is like, you can get started creating as soon as today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify, and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, so that's pretty cool. And with Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I really just feel like it's taken my podcasting to a whole nother level. So I highly recommend you give it a try if a podcast is something that you've been thinking about as well. Just download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Hey there, I'm Julie, and this is the Married to Addiction podcast. If you're here, then you're probably what I call my secret sister. We're in a situation we never asked to be in and fighting a battle we never wanted to fight. We're faith-filled women who are married to an alcoholic, and it affects every inch of our lives. If that sounds like you, then this is a safe place for you to land. Married to Addiction is a faith-based podcast where I help you find the tools and strength you need to navigate your husband's addiction without losing yourself in the process. So please subscribe and tune in as often as you can, because your husband's recovery is important, but so is yours. Have you been having trouble with setting boundaries for your alcoholic husband? If so, then I have created something that was made specifically for you. It's my Boundaries mini course, and in it, you will not only get a better understanding about boundaries in general for us as wives of alcoholics, but you will also walk away with some boundaries of your very own that you can put into place as soon as today. In this Boundaries mini course, we're going to talk about how to create healthy boundaries based on the right foundation and why they are so important for us when we're married to somebody who's addicted. We'll talk about what the Bible has to say about boundaries. Yes, they're biblical. We'll talk about why you may not have had success with creating or adhering to boundaries before, as well as the number one misconception around boundaries for wives of alcoholics. I'll also give you some examples of some healthy boundaries that you could create. And I'll show you how to successfully put healthy boundaries into place in your own life, which enables you to feel so much more empowered and peaceful. And it gets rid of a lot of the confusion and overwhelm that you're probably feeling right now. So in order to find out more about the Boundaries mini course, you just have to head to my website, marriedtoaddiction.com, click on the drop down that says Need Help, and you will see the button right there for the Boundaries mini course. I hope that you join me there. Hello, and welcome to episode 80 of the Married to Addiction podcast. This episode is called Making Room for You. So on the last episode, we talked a little bit about some shifts for Married to Addiction. Some changes have already taken place, so go back and listen to that episode if you haven't already. One of the changes does affect the podcast directly, so go back and catch yourself up if you need to. There's going to be an additional change that's going to be announced at the end of this episode. This one's super exciting, so stay tuned for that. But we talked a little bit in the last episode about how this time of year is always a time of transition for me and for a lot of people, really. And I also did a live on this in the Secret Sister Circle and thought that it would be helpful to share with you as well, because this is kind of a big deal. So fall, back to school, etc., means back to routines for a lot of us who have kiddos. And this is a really great time to kind of get back on track in your life and with your goals in general. But this also includes our recovery. When we fly by the seat of our pants with our recovery, when we pick and choose a couple of little random things to implement, we may see some results, but you won't likely see your desired results, and you won't likely see long-term results, because consistency is key. And when you're just picking and choosing, I call it throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. If you're just kind of picking and choosing, maybe things that you hear on this podcast or suggestions that you've heard elsewhere that you need to do this, need to do that, but you either don't really understand the intricacies of those things, or you just try it once and it doesn't really work. You don't have the consistency or the understanding that you need to get your desired results and to get those long-term results. The reason for that is because you don't have a plan. You just haven't taken the time to put together a workable plan. Now, I'm sure that you have heard the saying, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And that sounds kind of harsh, but it's true. And it's true for really anything that you try to do. For example, if you say, I'm going to work out more, you may or may not, but actually seeing your desired results from working out won't likely come to fruition if you just say, I'm going to work out more. And it's just kind of like, whenever I have the time, which, spoiler alert, that's not really ever going to be ever, right? Because most of us don't have any extra time, and working out isn't fun. So it's not something that a lot of us will, jump on when we have a free 30 minutes. But the point is that you likely won't get to your desired results if it's just kind of like a loose, open-ended goal like that, because you probably won't really ever execute it consistently. But if you starting next week, I'm going to walk on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings for 30 minutes. And then on those mornings, you start your day by putting on your workout clothes and your walking shoes before you go downstairs to make lunches or do whatever. Then are you much more likely to actually put that plan into motion? You are, right? Because you've made a specific commitment of what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. And you've actually taken some steps to get yourself doing the actual thing that you said you were going to do. The same goes for any other improvements that we're trying to make in our lives, including our recovery. So the point of today's episode is we need to make room for ourselves, and we need to have a specific plan. Because again, if you are just picking and choosing things, you are not going to probably end up with your desired result. So we need to have a plan. We need to make room for ourselves. This is a really good time of year for us to do it. Because like I said, a lot of us, it's kind of a time of transition. Kids are back in school. We have a little more time. We're getting back to a more structured schedule. Like for us, the late dinners and the late bedtimes and all of that stuff is over with. The early wake ups are back and all of the things. We started school actually, it's been almost a month ago now, 3 weeks ago or so, in the middle of August. So we've already kind of done that. But whether you have done that in your area or whether you are getting ready to do that where you live, or maybe even if you don't have little kiddos, so school is not really like a transition time for you. It's still a transition. We're moving out of summer. We're moving into fall. I feel like spring and summer is kind of one half of the year as far as, the stuff that comes along with all of that. And then, of course, fall and winter, we have all the stuff that goes with that. So it really just is a good time, to start making some changes and to start being intentional about those changes. So, like I said, I have another change for you. This one's super exciting. I have something for you today that I want to give you to help you get started with this transition, with this being intentional, with this making room for yourself and for your recovery. So one of the announcements that I made on the last episode was that the Secret Sister Circle, which is my membership for Wives of Alcoholics, that the signups for that were going to be paused. So as it stands right now, you cannot sign up as a member of the Secret Sister Circle. Now you can sign up for the wait list, and we've had a bunch of people doing that, which is awesome. So please go do that if that's something that you can foresee yourself wanting to do in the future, because once signups open back up, the people on the wait list are going to be notified first. So get on that if you have any interest whatsoever. But because the signups were closed as of August 31st, I did have some disappointed people. And people are asking, like, when's it going to be open back up? I honestly don't know. Again, go listen to the last episode for the reason why. But at any rate, there were some people that were disappointed that they couldn't get in. And I always want to find ways to support you all the time. So I was thinking to myself, what could I do while the Secret Sister Circle is closed and people can't get in to get that help? So what I decided to do was create Foundations. Foundations is brand new. I created it so that whether you are very interested in joining the Secret Sister Circle, and you already know that, whether you have thought about joining the Secret Sister Circle, or whether you really don't know anything about the Secret Sister Circle, but you'd be interested in learning some about it, Foundations is for you. Because what it is it's an introduction to clarity for the wife of an alcoholic based on the teachings in the Secret Sister Circle. It is free. You can start clapping your hands now. Foundations is basically an introduction or a preview into the Secret Sister Circle, because again, I wanted to give you something. So if you know that you want to start the Secret Sister Circle when signups are available again, this is totally for you, because you can get started on the material. It is the same exact material as in the membership. Of course, very, very scaled down. The membership itself has over 50 lessons and a private group and all kinds of stuff that comes with it. But this will at least help you get started. There are two options for Foundations. As I said, one is free, or you can upgrade your Foundations experience to Foundations Upgraded. So the free version contains 4 full-length lessons with accompanying worksheets or exercises or, questions to answer, pulled directly from the Secret Sister Circle, and 3 of the SSC signature tools. If you opt for Foundations Upgraded, which is a $27 upgrade, you can up your lessons to 9 full-length lessons in total and 5 signature tools. So there is a free option. There is a paid option if you want more. The paid option, just as everything else from Married to Addiction, will be billed discreetly as women's ministries. So if that's something you're concerned about, don't be. But you can head to marriedtoaddiction.com//Foundations, and you can see the breakdown of everything that's included in both of those versions, both the free and the upgraded. So I hope that is something that you will find helpful. Please go sign up for that. I really think that it's a great way to either get started if you know you want to be in the membership, or even if you have no interest being in the membership right now, go get some free lessons. Go get some free coaching, some free help. Just go check it out. I actually think you're really going to love it. And this is a great opportunity to start being serious about your recovery, being serious about improving your life, being serious about making the changes that will lead to positive changes in your life for a very long time. You've probably heard me say before, some of the changes that I made when my husband was going through addiction and when he was new in recovery have served me now even 6 years later on a daily basis. So there's some stuff in there that is just fundamentally good for wives of alcoholics in general. So use this as your opportunity to get some recovery, to get started on your recovery. I encourage you to take this seriously. Go get a binder or a folder, back to school time. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Maybe some colorful pens or a new journal or something to really just commit to this. So this is the equivalent of putting on your shoes, right? Putting on your workout stuff in your shoes so you actually do go walking. Make a commitment. Go get yourself some stuff so you can get started on your recovery. Make this process feel good so that it's something that you look forward to. Schedule it. commit to it. Make it a commitment just as you would anything else. Now, we're not talking an hour a day. You have 15 minutes a day, great. You can listen to a lesson. Like, they're all short, they don't take a lot of time, but schedule it, commit to it. This is important. Your recovery is just as important as your husband's. So make it a priority in your life. Go get something fun, some cool supplies to help you along and make you excited about it. Schedule it and add it to your calendar or your reminder app or whatever you use, and be specific. So just like I will go walking on Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 30 minutes, I will work on my recovery on Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 30 minutes, or whatever you can do, however you can fit it in. Every morning, every weekday morning for 15 minutes, whatever it looks like. But make it a priority. Make this a season of getting back on track, of moving forward, and of seeing results and beautiful, positive changes in your life that can come only from working on your own recovery. I hope that's been helpful for you. Go grab foundations. Again, marriedtoaddiction.com/foundations. I'll see you inside. Quick question for you before I let you go today. Have you been to the Married to Addiction website? If you haven't, I would love if you would go pay it a visit. It's just marriedtoaddiction.com. And over there, you can see just a lot of different information about my podcast. There is a blog on there. There's some free resources for you. And there's also a few ways that you can actually get some help if you need a little more help and direction and support as you travel this difficult path with your addicted husband. So if you haven't yet, please go visit marriedtoaddiction.com. Thanks so much.